Man, you know what? You crack me up.
All right,
You
here we
do.
are.
Here we are. Hey, everybody. Good evening. Hey, welcome to the next episode of Chasing Gazillions. Is not the same as making millions.
It's getting closer, though.
Let's get closer.
Getting closer.
Wednesdays with Fernando and Anthony, two real estate professionals just sharing life's journeys and lessons we've learned on this road to creating successful careers in real estate. We're just here to talk to you about different topics every week. We invite you to join us here live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we just kick it, ideally for only 30 minutes. Sometimes it goes 37 minutes.
Or
Last
39.
week, go 39. 39.
We had a lot to say. It
We
was a
did
good
have
topic.
It
was a
was
good
a good
topic.
topic. And we got a great topic this week as well, talking about due diligence. You're out there, you're considering residential commercial investing, and hey, there are some basic due diligence things that you should be looking for, you should be doing when you're evaluating these properties. Um, we work with clients who are, making decisions about investing based on, all sorts of criteria. And no criteria is bad. If you're looking for a neighborhood where there's a little front yard and flowers, and that's part of your criteria, that's fine. But there are some other things that should also be a part of your due diligence checklist. But
Well,
before we jump into
and
that,
it's not just for investments either. It could be for an end user.
that's
Someone
right.
buying a
Could be for
commercial
an
building to move their business into. It could be for a residential person to move their family into.
That's right. Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean,
But before we get there, how was your week, man?
like to
What's been
catch up
going
on
on?
each other personally.
Well,
That's
I
what it's
do, man.
about, right?
Well, yeah. I look forward, quite honestly, I look forward to this time together
Good.
with you and the few friends that are out there listening.
Where's Bushwhacker? Where's the Virginia Bushwhacker? I love that guy.
He's coming. He's coming.
It's number one. All
Yeah.
right. So this has been a good week. I mean, we were chasing this GSA deal, this helium deal. We decided not to pursue it. It got a little complicated, and part of it was that they wanted us to have an investment banker on our team. They wanted to have a securities and commodities consultant on our team, a helium consultant. We got some of those people in there. Virginia Bushcrafter's on there, by the way. Hey, how are you, sir?
Good evening. Yes,
So,
welcome.
We it just became too complicated. Probably was out of my comfort zone of what I'm used to doing. It left me a little stung a little bit. I was pretty upset, but you got to move on to the next deal. Like I've always said in real estate as a professional, you finish a deal, you don't finish it, you got to move on to the next one because, hopefully there's other deals behind the one you just lost, right? If there isn't, then you might want to switch professions. I'm just saying.
That's right.
So, a big announcement for me, a life-changing event's happening this weekend for me.
Hold on.
Daughter's graduating from college.
What?
Damn. Another one out. Two down, one to go.
How many children do you have, by the way, dude? You've been
Three.
kind of proliferating. And
Three and a dog.
Three and a dog.
Yeah. So I wanted to share her graduation.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Let's see if it works here. Can you see it?
Can I see it? And I can turn it on.
There you go.
There you go.
She's right there in the middle.
There's a lot of them in the middle.
No, right here where my mouse is. So she's the fourth one. Either way, she's right in the middle.
1, 2, 3, 4, with the black hair in the middle.
Black hair, named Sophia. She's my second kid, graduating with honors from St. John's University. Eventually, will be going to grad school to become a child psychologist. Going to get her PhD. She's very smart, very pretty. Is going to do great things. And then here she is again, the first one on the left.
There you go.
So I wanted to share that. It's a big moment. It's a life event. These events don't
That's
happen
right.
all the time.
That's
Everyone
right.
should realize when they happen, take the time to enjoy them. You know, do what you have to do for these events. It's like when your child's born, you know, when your child gets married, when you have a grandkid, all these life-changing events. Graduating from college, I believe, is one of them.
Yes.
And I'm one more kid down, and I'm done. I got my son just finished at Temple University, had a great year. They've invited him back, thank God.
Yes.
So we are
and your money
moving forward. Yeah. It's a really it's unbelievable when your kid graduates from college. It's a really good feeling.
Yeah.
So my mom's in town for the graduation.
Nice.
My wife's mom's in town. So we're hauling a couple 86-year-olds up to New York City for the graduation. Should be interesting. Just say that. And on the way up, we're stopping at Princeton University for my daughter, who's a choreographer for the university play at Princeton. So we're going to go see her play with the grandmas and then get back in the car and drive into New York City at 11 o'clock at night. So should be fun.
A lot of driving. I hope somebody else is going to help you with the driving. No,
that's me. I'm the mule. I just put it on my back and go.
Okay.
So that's kind of me, man. It's been a good family week.
All right.
So what about you? Tell me about Orlando, Universal Studios.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we took the family this last week. Myself, my wife, Melinda, my children, Eliza and Absalom. Eliza's 23, Absalom's 19. College students, grad student. Dude, I'm gonna tell you, it was wonderful for us. We just laid around at the beach. They have a beach. We were on a resort property, the Cabana property. Melinda and I just went there, went to the Lazy River.
My fan.
And we just floated and read and laid and slept and woke up and drank. And while they went off to the city walk and the this and the whatever, every day we just got up, went downstairs, got the little umbrella, laid out, and then occasionally got up and got into the whirlpool, got into the pool. Nice. You know, just floated around in the water, just looking at one another in the eyes, floating. It was a wonderful time. Good time. Hey man, look, we're coming up on a minute. Let me make this quick announcement because I know there's people. We got some other guests here.
Yes, we do.
We got
Antonio Shifu.
Well, I think it's Shifu Antonio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which one is it? I think it's But welcome to the show. I just met him. He is a Keller Williams agent who is interested in commercial real estate. And we talked, and I invited him like Kung Fu Panda. Sifu Antonio. Yeah, okay, Sifu Antonio. Okay. Yeah. So I invited him to come that he might evaluate us, see us safely before he goes into a coaching call with me tomorrow at 11 a.m. Yes, I do coaching calls, and he wanted to fill me out first. I'll see if he shows up for the coaching call tomorrow.
Too deep zone. What kind of calls you guys? What are you guys talking about? 4-3
you know I do coaching calls for people who want to be in real estate, been in less than 2 years. They floundering around. Yeah.
You're the Lombardi of coaching, of real estate coaching. I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't
know that?
Oh yeah. Well, you just think I just like talking and hearing myself talk, although that is true.
You did play nose guard. You prefer the 3-4 because I know you played nose guard in college. I remember when Kevin Cover used to stop you around.
We're coming up on the top of the minute with 2 seconds left. One thing, an announcement, big announcement. This is why I had the bow tie on today. I untied it. It's the end of the day. I'm tired, guys. But I had it all tied up. Mayor Muriel Bowser,
Well, man,
mayor of Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, appointed me to serve on the Board of Appraisers. And I was sworn in today.
wow,
Yes.
that's strong.
Yes. I had to wear a tie, got sworn in. So now I'll be serving on that board of appraisers here, representing the District of Columbia. Yeah, so we're really excited about that.
Big time, yeah, that's big time.
But I'm excited about it. I was at my first board meeting today, met with the chairman and other board members, and we're going to be. They are looking to have great impact on the diversity of the industry. There are issues in the appraisal community that the board will be taking on, like appraisal bias.
Appraisal bias, depending on neighborhood, kind of thing.
That's right. That's right. Because it's real. There are persons who are appraisers, licensed appraisers,
Who have biases, built-in biases.
we all got some biases.
Oh, we do.
But dude, when you go into a property and you start looking around at the property and you see certain items on the wall, right? You see dashiki, and you say, well, this house only worth $400,000, and then you come back, same house, and now you see University of Virginia plaque on the wall.
UVA.
You say now this house worth $600,000.
Wow, who?
What?
That's why.
Exactly. So we got to address that, and we got it. And the industry's getting older, and the criteria for becoming an appraiser and the diversity in the industry, all of that. I got all that today in the board meeting. We're going to be making things happen here.
Where does Maryland fall? Like 500,000? Is that where they're at?
I don't know.
They're not quite UVA, but hey. All right, let's get started here.
Okay, let's get started. Okay,
I'm going to start with the residential side of things.
All right, so today's topic was due diligence, and we're going to have Fernando start off talking to you about due diligence on when you're looking at residential properties. Go ahead, Fernando.
So currently the market today, people aren't really doing their due diligence. I think they're doing this up to service. They're so hungry to get a house. And I truly believe that what ends up happening is you go see a house, and emotionally, you leave the house physically, but emotionally, some houses, you're still in that house. So no matter what you got to do to buy that house, you will do. And I think what's happening is to get deals in this competitive market is not only are you overpaying, I think, or you're paying what the market is willing to pay against you. So it's really an auction is what's going on right now at every listing, okay? But I think people are forgetting some of the critical, essential things that come with every real estate transaction when you're buying a house. And some of them are mandatory. I think just a few, though. I mean, most of it's all in negotiation. Like all real estate, there's a lot of stuff that's negotiated. So let's start like with the appraisal, for instance. People are waiving appraisal contingencies, and you'll be on that board hearing about this, right? So, hey, I bought a house, I waived the appraisal contingency, and the appraisal came in at 600 because the appraiser didn't really want to push the number to 625, what I was willing to pay, but I waived the contingency. So now I have no leg to stand. The only leg I have to stand to go back to the seller and say, hey, you mind lowering the price? He's going to be like, no, I'm not lowering the price. It's my market, the seller's market. You catch me in 3 years, then we can talk, but not today, right? So what they're coming up was they're putting up the cash, additional cash to cover that shortfall, so the bank can do the loan at whatever LTV the bank is set for that loan. So that's what's going on with the appraisals. I can see that to a certain extent, but you don't want to overextend it where you're 50 grand over and you're paying cash, because really the appraiser's giving you the true value of the house. They're doing the best they can to match that number to the contract number, but they really are giving you the true value of the house on that day. right? They've
That's right.
scoured the comps, they're scouring all the sales. Those guys, they're kind of tireless workers, and kind of like they are kind of the unsung heroes, I think, of the real estate industry. They do some really good work, and there's a bunch of good guys out there that do it.
Okay, sure.
Um, the other
But
thing
you're
is,
right though. You're right about people overpaying. They're waiving the appraisal,
yeah,
and so everyone's still making out except the buyers in this market.
right,
The
right.
lender is still not coming off his LTV.
And part of that is that emotional attachment that I'm talking about, where you leave physically the property, but your bodies are still in that house, and you're going home at night saying, "Oh, the baby's room could be perfect in that room. Oh, my furniture looks great in that living room." You're already mentally, rarely do you back out of a deal because mentally you're there already. So whatever comes up along the way, it usually doesn't deter you from still going through with the transaction. It's a funny way how your mind plays tricks with the body, right?
Sure.
The other thing is home inspection. Another thing that's been waived recently. I I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that waiving it, because if it's your first house, I would never waive a home inspection, because you know nothing about a house. It's your first house, right? You lived in the house maybe growing up and you looked around, but you didn't do any of the repairs. Most people didn't. There are people out there who were handy. Their parents made them go and help fix the
All
house
times,
up.
all
Yeah,
times.
very, very few people like that though. So first house, I would definitely recommend home inspection. Always have it. But if I bought a house, there would be my third house. I'm not. I think I would still try to get an inspection. If I really wanted it in a competitive market, I may not have a choice but to waive it. Right? I'm being squeezed into this tiny hole here, so I think I could waive that if needed to be, okay. But it's a difficult call. The other one's termite inspection. Now, if you get an FHA or VA loan, it's mandatory. The bank says you have to have it.
Sure.
But if you don't, but if you get a conventional loan, it's a negotiable topic. The reason banks like to have termite inspections, because the termites can do some wicked damage. I mean, the termites, they get into a wood frame of a house, they can really terrorize that house. It's bad. And it's an easy fix. If you find the termites, you get a contract with one of the termite companies. They come and spray once a month. It can be over pretty quick. So it can be really bad if you don't worry about it. So I'm mixed on that. I would definitely have a termite inspection. I wouldn't maybe not make it contingent on the contract, but do it for peace of mind on my own. That's the same with the home inspection. You can do the inspection, not make it contingent, but still have one done so you know what you're getting into ahead of time, right? Okay, this is what I'm buying. The kitchen sink leaks. The roof needs to be replaced. I'm getting all this intel from my inspector. I'm still buying the house, but I know I'm going to have to set aside 20, 30, 50 grand for these repairs once I'm in there, right?
Exactly.
So there's nothing wrong with doing it and not making contingent on it. HOA docs. So those docs, when you buy a house in a HOA or a condo or a planned community, what they call a PUD, you get these list of documents, and in Maryland you have 5 days to read them and rescind the contract for any reason, whatever you read in there. Okay, so those are mandatory. You have to give those to anyone buying an HOA.
Okay.
Obviously you can't waive that. So, or you could waive it by not saying anything about it, right? By not reading them or
By
not
default.
by
You're right.
default, right? And those are like the five main ones that I came up with. So I have a great story too. So friend of mine selling her house, widowed, husband died a couple years ago in a tragic car accident. Really, really sad actually. Selling her house, puts it on the market, 7 contracts the first day. She's like, yes, right? Takes the highest one, non-contingent, yes. The one
Nice.
thing that guy said was the lady and gentleman was like, hey, you've had the husband was really handy. He had put on a couple additions to the property, and they were really nicely done. But they said the only thing we want to do is just make sure these things were permitted properly.
Permitted.
Permitted properly, which they went to the county. before when you do anything outside the inside of your house, or you have electrical, plumbing, foundation work, the county's got to get out in Maryland, DC, everywhere. They got to get out there and make sure that stuff's done right, because the county doesn't want people dying underneath their house, right? They don't want your house collapsing, your house catching on fire, your house flooding for faulty plumbing, faulty electricity.
That's right.
So the wife's like, okay, and she kind of knew that he had done some projects with his contractor friends without getting a permit, but the work was nicely done. Comes back, no permit. People say, we're out. So now here's the problem that she came across now. Now it becomes a latent fact. It's a fact of the property. So now you got to disclose to everybody, right? Here we go. Because now the realtor knows about it. And if the realtor doesn't disclose, it's fraud. He's breaking the law, right? He's going to get in huge trouble. So the realtor tells my friend, hey, you got to disclose this. This is now it's go time. You have to tell people this. It may hurt you. I don't know what's going to happen.
Going to hurt you.
We're going to relist the property. Oh, no, that gets better. Relist it. A day later, 4 contracts come in. They've disclosed everything. The people buy it. They're like, we don't care. We're taking it anyhow. Same price. But now they've disclosed it. And now it becomes the new buyer's problem, because that problem doesn't end with my friend. Once that contract and that title is transferred to them, now it's their problem. So when they sell that house, a new buyer, when they sell that house, that's their problem now. And they did not care. Still bought the house, same price. Really kind of.
Yeah, I don't really like this story. I'm not feeling this one. No. And I know why I'm feeling the way I feel, because I live with the director, both for when she was at DCRA and now in Maryland with DPI. And so I hear these stories. These are the seeds of nightmares that come into my household every day, that Melinda and her team at the Department of Inspections and Enforcement are fighting and grappling with and trying to catch up with, to protect the public from themselves. Right? And so by waiving these requirements and things and on and on and on, and kicking the can down the road, man, dude, I hear some nightmare residential stories of, whole back lots of 15 houses built on, faulty basements or what, and it's sliding into a gully. And now the human beings who own these properties then are now coming to the county saying, hey, county, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to help me? What are you going to do to protect me? Save my house. Right?
That's about to happen with those people. Apparently, the husband and friends did good work. But, but if something does happen, they only have themselves to blame at that point.
Caveat emptor.
Yeah.
Caveat emptor. That's
all right.
That's Latin.
Let's talk commercial. Give it to me, because that residential, commercial, I don't think people are a little more cautious, right? They're not as, because there's not emotional attachment. It's more a business decision, would you say?
I used to think that, but commercial investors and business owners are can be just as emotionally committed to the business and the process, what it is that they're trying to deliver in a space. And so no, they can be equally as passionate about it and willing to forego things. So you're right. So on the commercial side, because I also had an example of a story of a property, and we'll use it in this illustration. Certainly, when you're looking at a property and you want to put your retail business into commercial space to operate, and you are the tenant seeking to operate your business, provide your services to the market in this commercial space. And the landlord has a sign out, the tenant, it's out there, says for lease. Here are some of the top 5 or 6 due diligence things that you should be doing, you can do, that are important for you to do when looking at this space.
Okay.
And this is true for Prince George's County, the District of Columbia, Virginia. They use different terminologies, but
what about Maryland? You always leave Maryland a little. You always forget about Maryland. We're over here. We're here.
Oh, okay, that's Prince George's County. Isn't that Maryland?
Oh, right. But you don't say Maryland. You just say Prince George's County. What about Montgomery County? What about Howard County? What about Frederick County? What about Carroll County? Allegheny, Baltimore County. Do I need to continue on? No. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
In Maryland.
Yes. Thank you.
So here are the things you want to be. The first things you want to be looking at. Does the organization that is purporting to lease you something actually, in fact, own the thing that you want to lease?
Kind of important.
You would think that if someone has a sign out in front of this structure with a realtor, that the person who is purporting to be the owner is in fact authorized to enter into a legally binding agreement for this space. Not always the case.
That's a problem for the realtor, by the way.
For the realtor, yes, but also for you, when you have gone through, signed a lease, now you're in a binding contract with someone to lease, and now you go to the local jurisdiction to seek permission to operate in this space, and they then inform you that that person doesn't own that space. They're not authorized to grant this. They're not the owner.
Right.
And then you're like, what? So the first thing of order is always confirming through, and you can always start with public. It doesn't always require, although I'm always, like I tell people all the time, I am an attorney. I'm not your attorney. I'm your real estate professional. I'm always recommending an attorney, but you don't always need to start with the zoning attorney first. There are a lot of things you can do. All this due diligence that we're giving you advice on is public records. This is where you should be starting before you even engage the professionals, right? So search public records. Make sure that this person owns it, can do what they say they can do. Next thing, and again, this one is also a big one. Check with the county in Maryland to make sure that the proposed use that you want to do can be done in this space at this location at this time. Simply because there was a use there that looks like what you want to do, and you appear to be wanting to do a similar thing, it is in fact a different use, a different operator, a different use that you are seeking. And there are zoning changes and things that have happened that while the current operator in the space for the past 5 years, 10 years, the zoning has changed. It didn't affect them operating and doing what they were doing in that space. But when they left, now the space is subject to the current zoning rules and regulations and overlays. Although the space looks the same to you, just like it did when they were there Friday. Now it's Monday, and you are not now permitted to do what you want to do. So check that with the local jurisdiction, with the county. Now that you're in the space, you've checked the zoning. Okay. Well, due diligence, guys. get your local contractors to give you estimates on the proposed work you're planning to do. Better to spend money having those contractors go in, evaluate the space, and give you budgets and estimates on costs, right?
Yeah.
Evaluating the cost of this project before, ideally before you sign the lease, certainly before you sign the contract.
It should be free, though. I mean, if they're charging for an
Exactly.
estimate,
It can be, and it is a part of it being free. And of course, you touched on it on the residential side, but certainly on the commercial side, a property condition survey is a mandatory, a must as a part of your due diligence package. You must do a condition survey to evaluate this property. And that condition survey should include not only the building, but also the land and site that the building sits on. That whatever it is you're looking at that you think it used to be and it used to continue to operate as is sitting on something that, oh, it turns out used to be a gas station. And although the local jurisdiction in Maryland has never perhaps cited the current owner about them operating here on it, now that you've come up and awakened this giant, you may be subject to, oh, well, this is sitting on a former gas station and now you can't do, right? So that's a part of the due diligence survey that is needed. Environmental study. So in addition to the condition survey of the building, you want to be doing an environmental study of the site. You can get phase 1 environmental surveys done on these sites so that you have that general understanding about, hey, what's going on this land, on this site.
$3,500 to $5,000, depending on the size of the site.
Exactly.
But definitely worth paying for all this stuff ahead of time instead of making a $2 million mistake on the back end.
That's right. Hey, look, we're 2 minutes over, and we always respect for your time. So before we go, there are a couple of things we want to touch on real quick. One,
our sponsor.
Well, we do have a sponsor.
Gotta bring him up.
I still can't bring the sponsor up yet. Oh my
goodness! But we gotta talk about him. Global.
Global Scholars Foundation, GSF, Global Scholars Foundation.org. Is a local nonprofit organization that provides to high school students, grades 9 through 12, with a 18-month immersion financial literacy training where they study the cultures of some foreign community and land for 18 months. Those children are learning about the language, the monies, the finances. They're learning about financial literacy and the like. And then the group literally takes them to that community for 2 weeks, all expenses paid for them. So they've been doing this now for I think it's 17 years. And they've gone to places like Ethiopia, Egypt, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, China, Spain, Rome. It just list goes on and on of where they take these young people, and this nonprofit does this for these high school kids, and they will be hosting their 3rd annual golf and jazz brunch.
Now it's jazz. Last week was just brunch. Now it's a jazz brunch.
No, it's a jazz brunch.
Nice. By the way, the company's led by Kenneth Brewer.
Kenneth Brewer is the head of the H Street Community Development Corporation. Global Scholars Foundation is a subsidiary nonprofit of the H Street Community Development Corporation that does affordable housing here in the area. And so, yes, and Dr. Marcia Brown is the executive director of Global Scholars Foundation. And so this jazz brunch and golf outing will take place on October 2nd, 11 to 3 jazz brunch, And on Monday the 3rd, shotgun start, 8 o'clock, round of golf, all held at the Country Club of Woodmore, at Woodmore, the Country
Prince
Club
George's
in
County.
Woodmore, in Prince George's County, Maryland. Prince George's County, Maryland.
Very nice
Yes,
golf course. Very nice
that's
golf
right.
course.
It is a nice golf course, and we want everyone. And I promise you, next week. But next week I'm gonna be at ICSC, and it's a Wednesday. But we still gonna have this show because no matter where we are in the world, we're gonna be doing this show.
I'll be at Pinehurst playing golf, so I will do the show probably on the putting green somewhere.
There
or
you go.
at the
Exactly.
Cradle.
Exactly.
I'm
But
doing the
before
show
we
too.
go, we want to recognize. We might not always be able to do this, but we want to recognize the Virginia bushcrafter. Been there with us from the beginning. We love the Virginia bushcrafter. He supported us from the beginning. He's right there with us. We love him. We don't know who it is, but we enjoy it. He comes and he asks questions. He comes and supports us. We have some other people who have shown up here today, like Kung Fu Partner, Shifu. Oh, it's Shifu. That was his name on Kung Fu Panda. It was Shifu Antonio. Yeah. Shifu. You remember that was the dad's name, I think.
Yep. Yep.
Exactly. Okay, we got that. All right.
And John Wright.
John Wright. Hey,
Thank
John.
You, welcome.
Welcome, John Wright.
I didn't get my usual at the beginning. Year 1, episode 6. You gotta have a calendar of this, you know.
Is it
remember it? Huh? I did not say
episode 6.
It's episode 6.
Year 1. You know what that means?
We need a guest.
Hey guys, we had planned that if this program we first started, we said
we made it.
If this program was still on past 5 episodes, if we were still doing it, we would bring on guests. Yes. So please send us an email, communicate with us, let us know who you are, what you want to talk about, because we are going to have guests now because we have made it past 5 episodes. Wow. It should like streamers be falling down or something now? Woo.
No. We're still doing this for free. Let's start making some money, then we can talk about that. Right now, we're just doing this to make the public aware of what's going on in the real estate world. But I mean, like our sponsor, we're paying him to be our sponsor. I don't know how that works, but he's great. Love him. We are. But we're gonna get somebody good. I don't know if next week will be the first week because we're both on the road.
Okay, well, now we opened up to it. Next week, we're just going to make sure from Pinehurst and Las Vegas that we do the show.
We're definitely doing it.
We're definitely doing it because you know what? I'm going to be out at the ICSC convention for retail. So we definitely going to be talking about something with retail. I'm going to be out there in
I think that's perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. The topic for next week is going to be something about retail space, retail something.
Yep.
Although I might be able to snag somebody out there at ICSC to come and be on as a guest.
There's a whole contingent of Hilco people out there next week too.
Fantastic.
I'm not going. I'm going to golf. I like the golf.
Well, you go golf. Oh, we got somebody else. Hold on. There's been a last minute entry here.
Katrina Copeland. Hello, Katrina.
Hey, Katrina. Attorney John Murray. Yes. Hey, we love it. Thank you so much for coming and joining us. All right, then, guys. That's it for this week. We're not
39-minute show, baby. I think we need to make it a 35-minute show.
Is it a 35-minute show?
I don't
know. I tell you what, you all tell us. We just need to tighten it up and keep it to 30 minutes, or do we need to make it a 35-minute show?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, everybody. Have a great week.
Right. Have a fantastic week.
We'll talk next week. I'm graduating a kid, so I'm excited about that, and I'll tell you all about it next week.
All right. Safe
All right.
travels, man. All the best.
You
Drive. Try to get somebody else to help you with the driving. Would you please?
Got it. I'm the mule.
Hey,
Just throw them on my back. I'm
that's
driving to Delaware tomorrow doing an inspection. Driving home, coming back, then driving to Princeton, then driving to New York. That's what I do. That's what dads do. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
All right.
All the best.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye.
We got another guest, Elena Woods.
Because that's what we do. We giving them a shout out here. See, that's what we get on our podcast. See, because we don't have all those regulatory things and people over us saying who we can and can't have on.
Yeah.
Elena Woods, welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of our show.
All right. I'm going to go grab dinner. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.